Now we go to the second session, which is courageous and value-based decision making. Our second session is courageous and Aishwarya. What is our second topic for today?
Yeah, courageous and value-based decision making.
Right. So we are talking about decision making. Right. What is the most important work of a leader?
He should lead. I mean,
He should lead. But yes,
yeah,
most important work of the leader is basically he's a most decision maker, because his decision impacts the entire organization. Or if you talk about a family, the decision what the parents take impacts the entire family, right. So decision making is a very very important work of a leader, and that's what we are going to read from a Bhagavad Gita perspective. And how our decision should be, it should be value based. What do you mean by value? It
uh,
should be,
morality base,
it should be moral,
moral,
it should be dharmic, right? It
ethical,
should be, we
moral
cannot
and
have a,
ethical.
it should be ethical, right? And courageous. So now the biggest problem a leader, or biggest challenge a leader face is that the more higher you are in hierarchy. Now think about a child, the amount of the level of decision he will make, or the parents, the level of decision they'll make will be much different, right? A parent may have to make a lot of difficult decisions compared to a child, right? Similarly, in an organization, the more higher you are in hierarchy, the type of decision you'll be taking is going to impact the entire organization. So it will be very, very challenging. Yeah. The more senior you are, your challenges becomes higher, because
More.
the impact of your decision is going to be higher, isn't it? So let us now take the most important role of a leader is decision making. And decision making should be value based, and tough decision needs lot of courage. And the more strong you are internally means the more wise you are. The more wise means the more wisdom, the more spiritual you are. The more spiritual you are, your decisions are going to be much better. Why? Because we have a very one of the quality criteria we talked about. What is in it for me, right? What is it in for me, right? That thing, whenever we are doing something, if we when we talked about selfless leader, normally what happens, the more spiritual you are, you will have less behavior of what is it in for me. You will always be looking for others than for yourself. Yeah. So that is a very very important behavior you will see from a spiritual people. They are more kind, they are more compassionate, they will take care of others than for themselves, right? That is why if you are more spiritual, your quality of decision which will impact others positively will be better. Okay. So it says tough decision needs lot of courage and inner wisdom
Yes.
and strength. And this inner wisdom and strength is basically comes more from the spiritual knowledge, right? Now we are going to do a case study today, because it is Bhagavad Gita based we are going to talk about, and that will be Arjun's ethical dilemma. So I would ask all of you, what are the reasons that Arjun mentioned for not fighting? There are four reasons Arjun has mentioned. Anyone? What are the reasons that Arjun gave that why he will not fight to Krishna? He said, I don't want to fight, and he put his bow and arrow, right? So, what are the reasons he gave?
yeah, the family structure will be lost.
Family?
He would be fighting his own elders, and the family structure will be lost.
Very correct. That is
And he is
one. That is,
compassionate.
family traditions will go, right? That's what you're talking about. Yeah, very good. What
Then,
else?
then he thinks that it is sinful to fight because all there are of brothers and sisters, which are standing in front of me. Even gurus are standing in front of me. Then it will be sinful to fight with them.
Absolutely. So that's right. The second one, it is sinful. If I kill my them, I will get pap. It is sinful. That is right. So two we have covered. There are two more.
If I win, then no one there to I have if अर्जुन अगर जीतेगा तो कोई भी वो किस पे राज करेगा, कोई भी नहीं रहेगा, तो किसके साथ अपनी खुशी शेयर करेगा,
Very
तो
correct.
उसके लिए भी वो नहीं.
Very correct. So with whom he will enjoy after winning? If no one will be there, with whom he's going to enjoy? Right? Very true. सब तो मर जाएंगे तो मैं enjoy के साथ करूंगा. I want to show I have won. I want to enjoy. I want to give a party, but party to whom? Then there's no
Party
one.
to.
Right? And the first one, I think all of you know, but someone has to talk about it.
Confusion.
Huh?
Confusion.
He's confused whether to fight or not, right?
That is there. Confusion is there. Absolutely right. That is also there. But before that is compassion. Compassion towards all his elderly people. Confusion is also there. That is the fifth, sixth, seventh reason. Right? So the first reason is compassion, attachment to the family members. What will happen? That, my Dronacharya and everyone will die. Second reason, forcing no enjoyment in victory. What will happen? Third reason, fear and sinful reaction. Fourth reason, harmful effect of destroying the family. And it is said, people who will destroy the family, they will go to hell. So all these reasons are, and who is Arjun? Arjun is a part of this family, part of this dynasty, is a part of this kul, right? So what is Arjun? What is his mental situation now? He's actually stuck on the kul dharma because he's a part of that dynasty. He's a part of the Kaurav dynasty, right? Kaurav and Pandavas, they're coming from Kuru dynasty, and Arjun is a part of that dynasty. He is going to kill his own brothers and fathers and father-in-laws, grandfather, his son, and what is doing? He finally what happens? If what will happen? Hell. He will go to hell, right? Because he's going to kill his own kul. You understand that? So his first problem was that he's worried about his kul dharma. I am a son. I'm supposed to protect my family, but I'm going to destroy my family. Understood? So this is his kul dharma, right? And as you rightly mentioned, Shravan, there are some more which says he started talking about which starts in the second chapter. How can I counterattack men like Bhishma and Drona? Superiors needs to be respected. Better to live. This is another very important point. Better to live by begging than to kill such great souls. I am fine. I will live by begging, but I will not kill my people. I do not know what is better, killing them or getting killed by them. He's totally confused, right? So this is his mental state. He's bothered about the kul dharma. He's attached to that, and that's why he decides not to fight, right? Now, what is his
Arjun's dharma is to fight.
why?
Is to fight. That is, because all their souls, they are not only that they will change their body, material world they will be living, and they will have the new body, and that's why it's your right, because you have to fight for the that, because nobody is going to die in this way. What I
Soul is
understand.
eternal, you mean to say?
No,
Because
soul will be living. Soul is not going to die. Only the material body is going to die.
okay,
It's just
but
like changing body.
okay, fine. But what is his duty? Arjun is what? What is his varnashram? What is his
He's a
varna?
Kshatriya.
It's Kshatriya.
He's
He's a
Kshatriya,
Kshatriya.
so
So what is the role?
Right.
Like
To fight.
Kauravas
he
have waged a
fight.
war on Pandavas, so it's his duty to participate in the war. Main thing is this, I guess,
But why should he participate in the war for what?
to protect his
protect
For
Dharma.
adharma,
countrymen
To
from
protect
fight
Dharma.
invasion.
for the dharma.
Very correct. Amit, yes, both of you are right. Can you again speak about that? I would like each of you to speak separately. Yeah.
Yeah, as someone has invaded his territory, so it's his duty to protect his countrymen from the invasion and for
Yes.
their well-being.
Yes. Being a Kshatriya, his dharma is to protect his people and establish dharma. Kauravas were spreading adharma. So his duty was to establish dharma. Meenal, yes, yourself? Meenal?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Mataji. It's fight for dharma, not against the dharma to Kaurava.
Right. So Arjun is when we talk about Varnashram system, what happens? He's a Kshatriya. As a Kshatriya, his dharma is to protect his countrymen. That is his society and establish dharma. He cannot be only looking after his family. Right? So the ethical dilemma he is in is between Kul Dharma and Varnashram Dharma. Right? He is struggling between two dharmas about the Kul Dharma and Varnashram Dharma. Right? That is the challenge he is in. So, what is Arjun's Dharma? As a Kshatriya, he needs to protect the society and establish Dharma as per the Varnashram Dharma. So, Arjun's challenge is decide between Kul Dharma and Kshatriya Dharma. He cannot save both. Either Kul Dharma, either he will save Kul or he can set up the Dharma in the society. He cannot save both. So he's in an ethical dilemma. It's a very, very big dilemma to him. Arjun is not an ordinary person. Arjun is a very, very great leader. He's actually the best warrior. And he's such a great warrior that he has actually, when once Shiva wanted to test him, how great warrior he is. And Shiva came as a hunter. He came disguised as a hunter, as a Kirita. And then he challenged Arjun to fight with him. And when Arjun fought with him, finally Shiva was so impressed by Arjun that he actually gave him the Pashupata Astra. Right? Arjun has fought and won many weapons from Indra, Brahmastra. So he's such a great warrior. Right? And being such a great warrior, still he has been faced with such an ethical dilemma to protect his family. That not only one family, it is written that there are 5 generations of people were there in the war, and if he would have killed, the entire 5 generations would have killed. So he's you can imagine, it is more like, imagine, think about a judge. His son he has been convicted for murder, and he is put in the court, and the father is the judge. As a father, he would like to save his son, but as a judge, he has to give him the right punishment. Can you imagine? So Arjun, and that is only for one person, but for Arjun, it was 5 generations, right? So that was the biggest challenge that Arjun was facing. And to take a decision needs extreme courage and wisdom, right? So that is why this was his dilemma, and we are taking this case for courageous and value-based decision. Right? Now, questions to all of you. I need your view. We all know that Arjun fought, but now what would have happened if Krishna would have agreed to Arjun's desire? Arjun's desire was not to fight, put down the bow and arrow he had already put, right? So what would have happened if Krishna would have agreed to Arjun's desire or emotion and have agreed not to fight? What do you think would have happened?
Yeah. So, as if Arjuna has not fought, in that case, the Adharma would have won, and that purpose of Krishna's birth, dharma, that would not have been achieved. So,
absolutely yes, right. So Arjun, if he would not have fought, then Adharma would have been established, right? It would have continued
Right.
with that, right? Now, next question. So, what would have decision? So that's why decisions cannot be based on desire. Arjun's desire was not to fight. So decisions cannot be based on desires or emotions. It has to be based on values. This is a learning, right? It cannot be based on desire. I don't want to do it, so I cannot do it. No, what is the value? Right? Dharma. We have to establish dharma. Our decision should be value based. Again, values as per dharma, or do your duty, right? Now, next question. What would have happened to Arjun? Here the important part is to Arjun. What would have happened to Arjun if Krishna had agreed and allowed Arjun not to fight the battle? How Arjun would have been seen if there would have been no fight and Krishna would have agreed and fight would not have happened?
history would have remembered him like a coward, means who couldn't do the actual what dharma palan. So he has not been able to do. So that would have been the history.
Absolutely right. He would have been remembered as one of the coward. So let us now read some of the shlokas that Krishna says to tell Arjun that what will happen if you don't fight. So he says, you can repeat after me. Akirtim chapi bhutani
Kirtim chapi
Akirtim
bhutani
Chapi bhutani
kathishyanti te avyayam
Katheshanti
Katheshanti
te
Vyayam
sambhavitasya chakirtir
Sambhavitasya Chakirti
marnadati uchyate.
Mayanadati Vichyate.
So kirti means fame, and kirti means infamous, infamy. Bhutani, bhut basically in Sanskrit means people. What will happen? And kathishyanti, katha means to say. What will happen? And avyaya means always, eternally. Eternally, what will happen? Everyone will talk about your infamy. Right? As Sudhi Prabhu said. And then what will happen? Sambhavitasya chakirtim maranad atichuchate. And for respectable people, what happens? It is better to die. Maran is die. It is better to die than akirti. Akirti is infamy, right? So people will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. So what Krishna tells Arjun, if you don't fight, everyone is going to always remember that, and you'll be totally infamous, and it is better to die than to not fight. And then he says, next slok he says, Bhayadran upparatam
Payadrantu
Pratam.
Pratam
mansyante tvam maharatha
Mansyante
Maharatha
yesham cha tvam bahumato
Yesham
Yesham Tvam Bahumato
bhutva yasyasi laghavam.
Bhutva
Bhutva
Yasasi
Yashyasi Laghavam.
Bhaya means fear. Bhaya means fear. The first word is bhaya. What mansyante means what will people will believe? Maharatha means the great warriors. What will they do? They will think that out of fear you have ran away. And yesham cha tvam bahumato, in various ways, bhutvam yasi lagvam. They will consider you lagvam. Lagvam means lagu. Lagu means insignificant. They'll make you insignificant. They will start treating you as insignificant. Means the great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only. And thus they will consider you insignificant, right? And then Krishna says, Avachyavansh bahun
Avachavadasham
vadishyanti tavahita
Dishyanti
Vadishyanti tava hita
nindantastavat samarthya
nidantastasthava samarthyam
tato dukhtaram nukim.
Tato
tato
Dukhtaram
dukkharam
Nukim.
Avachya means, Vach is speaking, Vadansha. I mean, it is extremely unkind words. Bahun means many. Vadishyanti will be told about you. They will speak lot of unkind words about you, and they will do your ninda. Ninda means again they will scorn all your ability, all your samarthya, and how much how much painful it will be for you. So your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? He's such a great warrior, and if he leaves today, if he doesn't fight, what is going to happen to him is what Krishna explaining to Arjun, right? So this is what he explained to Arjun. Now, next question to you. Would Arjun could have changed his mind later? Do you think, because he says, I'm fine, I can beg, I will leave everything, I'm happy to beg and live my life than fighting. That's what he said, and he refused to fight. So the question is, I would like Anshu Prabhu to reply to this question. Do you think Arjun could have changed his mind later?
No, uh, because after all the teaching by Krishna, he understood that he need to fight for the pride of his dynasty or for doing the dharma.
Right. So now the question is, we are assuming that Arjun did not fight. We are assuming that he did not fight, right?
Okay.
And because he's not fighting, so Arjun, what will happen to Arjun? Arjun will get lot of infamy, right? Now,
Yes,
in that case, do you think later when he would have gone to forest and living by begging, do you think he would have changed his mind and why and he will come to fight later in that situation, that series, Anshu? That is the question.
yes, sure. Because now he should feel that uh, their peoples are giving the bad name to him, and he quit the battle due to fear and everything. So he should fight. Maybe
Right.
he later decide he should fight.
Right, because always remember, currently he is in his stage is the emotional stage. If we are taking decisions based on emotions, when our mind is okay, then we are going to repent. So decisions can never be taken in a emotional stage. When your mind is, and what he was currently, he was totally emotional. And in that case, if he would have taken decision, he is going to repent later, right? Right? And what Krishna explains, which I have not written here, Krishna explains that in the 4th chapter to Arjun, saying that those, such people who actually are not have not controlled their mind, they have not controlled their mind, they have not controlled their senses, and then they go away, like what he's trying to do now, to go to forest and or live by begging. What will happen? They are actually mithyachari, they are pretenders, because they cannot sustain in that mode, because their mind and their senses are not controlled, and they are doing it out of emotions. So this is what Krishna explained later in the 4th chapter. So if he would have allowed Krishna Arjun not to fight, then he would have later he would have repented and would have definitely come forward. That would have been the situation. So these are all hypothetical questions I have put for our discussion, right? Now we go to the real scenario in Bhagavad Gita. How did Arjun solve the dilemma? What really happened as per Gita? What Krishna did? Now, Krishna and Arjun, they both are great leaders, and now imagine the situation is the what do you call it? The shank, the shank has already blown on both the sides. The war is going to start, and then Arjun asked Krishna, take me to the center of both the armies, and I want to see who are on the other side. And when he sees people on the other side, all those things happen. And now the best warrior of the Pandava side, which is Arjun, is in such a mental state that he cannot fight. Imagine the World Cup is happening, India is in finals, and Sachin Tendulkar is there, and he says, I cannot play. I cannot, I am not able to play. What will happen? So this is, it is like the best player there is refusing to fight. So Krishna starts helping him to understand, and it takes him step by step, and explains to him. So let us see what did Krishna do. So the first good thing that happened, what Arjun did the best thing. So the leaders in the organizations, as I mentioned, they have to face a lot of challenges and ethical and the questions where they're both situations are right, and they have to make decision and choose one out of two of the other both, right? So the first thing that he did, Arjun, he actually surrendered to Krishna. He asked for help. He was not egoist. He was humble. He was not egoist. He did not say, okay, whatever it is, I know what to do and I will do it. But what he did, he asked for help. He asked for help. He surrendered. Arjun surrendered. So the leader, if the leader is in that situation, and if there are other better leaders, he should ask for help. He should not put his ego forward, right? So what he did, Arjun actually surrendered to Krishna, and He said, now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. He's asking him to instruct him what he should do. Guide him, instruct him, because I am totally confused. I don't know. So, what is the value that Arjun demonstrated? He was humble, humility to accept confusion. He accepted his situation and he asked for help, courage to seek higher wisdom. Right? Many times, because the ego, the great leaders, they don't want to show they think that people will take this as their weakness and they will not speak out. But it is always good when there is a crisis and when you don't know, as a leader, there's no harm in confiding to someone whom you know is a better leader and ask for help so that a right decision can be made. This is what we can learn. We should not be egoist and go and take decision based on the the way we know, because the higher you are, your decisions are going to impact a lot of people. Even in family, the parents, many times there could be a situation in the family, in the big families, where you don't know what to do. At that point of time, you can always request a third person whom you feel have more knowledge and have respect to guide you to solve the problem than taking a decision only based with by yourself, right? Yeah. So that is the first thing that Arjun did. Now, how Krishna helped him. So he said, I am your disciple. So he said he agreed Krishna to be the guru. So how Krishna helped Arjun with higher wisdom. So let us see that. So first thing what he did, second chapter from shlok number 13 onwards till shlok number 30. What did it is the science of self, where Krishna explained, who am I? You are not this, so I am the soul. Body is different from soul. So core of fundamental identity. And then what is my real identity? We are spiritual beings, part and parcel of Krishna. So explain who we are. We don't have to see ourselves as this body, but we have to understand this body at a 3 levels. The external body that we have got, the thing, who am I? I'm actually the soul. And I'm covered by this body. And between the body and the soul, it is the mind who is making me do things and my karma. Right? So these are the 3 things: the subtle body, the body, the subtle element body, and the soul. The 3 things Krishna explained. Then what he did, so this is all we know, we have read it in the last semester: soul, the subtle body, and the outer body, right? Body, right? This is what we have already done. Then he took then he took Arjun to the next level. What is that? He gave him value-based clarity, understanding dharma. What is your dharma? He explained him what is his dharma. Now we'll start reading the shlok in detail. We did this shlok in the other one, but let's do it in detail now. So, Swadharmamapi chavekshya
Swadharmapi chavekshya
na vikampitum
Now we
Kampitum
arhasi
dharmyadhi yuddhat shreyo
dharma
Dharmyadidi Yuddhat Shreyo
anyat kshatriyasya na vidyate.
Anyat Kshatriyasya na Vidyate.
So Krishna reminded him of, this is the shlok number 31 of the second chapter. Swadharma Pive. He said, O Arjun, you are a Kshatriya. What are you? You are a Kshatriya. And what is your Swadharma? Your dharma is to save. It is to establish dharma and save your countrymen. Chaveksha, considering your dharma, considering your aveksha means considering your dharma. Vikampitum arhasi. There's no need for you to hesitate. Vikampitum is hesitation. Don't hesitate. Dharmyad yuddha shreya. It is, shreya is better. Shreya means better. What is better? To fight the dharmyud, to do the dharmyud, then, and there's no point of hesitation there, right? So, considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, Please repeat after me.
Considering your specific duty as
Considering
a
your
Kshatriya,
specific duty as a Kshatriya,
Kshatriya,
You should know that there is no better engagement for you
you should
Should
not
you should know
there is
that
no
there is
better
no better
engagement
engagement for you
than fighting
then
than fighting
than
on religious
fighting
principles.
on religious
on
principles.
on religious
principles.
principles.
And so there is no need for hesitation.
And so
Right.
there is
And
no
so
need for
there is
hesitation.
no need for
Right.
hesitation.
So Krishna actually reminded him of his Swadharma, that you are not just a son of Kuru dynasty, but you are a Kshatriya. And as Kshatriya, it is your duty to follow your dharma, which is to do the yudh for establishing dharma. That is what he explained. And then he said, Ath chetam imam dharmyam
Ath chetvam
Imam
sangramam na karishyasi
Sangramam na karishyasi
tatah swadharmam kirtim cha
tata swadharmam kirtim cha
hitva papam apsyasi.
hitva papam avapsyasi.
So Arjun was very worried about sinful reaction. He said, if I kill them, then I will get sin. Right? That is what his logic was. And here Krishna is explaining it to him. This is a dharma yudh. But if you do not, this fight is basically a dharma yudh. But if you do not fight this yudh, what will happen? You will get pap. You will get sin. What will happen? You will get sin because this is a dharma yudh and you are not doing your duty. So you have to fight. So let us read the translation. If, however,
However,
you do not perform your religious duty of fighting,
You do not
you do not perform your
religious
religious duty of fighting,
then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties.
then you will
will
certainly
incur
incur
sins
sins
for
for
neglecting
neglecting your duties,
And thus lose your reputation as a fighter.
and thus
and
lose
thus
your
lose your
reputation.
reputation as a fighter.
Right? And then he says, Hato va prapsisi swargam,
Hato
Hato va prapsiyasi swargam,
jitva va bhokshase mahim,
jitva va bhoksyase mahim,
tasmad uttishta kaunteya,
tasmad uttishta kaunteya,
yuddhaya kritanishchayah.
yuddhaya krita nischayah.
Krit is do, nischay. Start to fighting. You will be ready to fight. Why? Hato means by death. If you die, if you get killed, then what will happen? You will get swarg. Prapisi swarga. You will get swarg. But jitva, if you win, you will bhokshase. You will enjoy what? Mahim, Prithvi. You will enjoy the earth. Tasmad, that is why. Uttishta, get up. O Kaunteya, O Kunti Putra, get up. Yuddhaya, Kritanishchaya. Get ready to fight. Understood? So, O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. So, that is the first knowledge he gave to Arjun. And the last slok, this is the slok I would like you to remember. I'll put this in today's class. Only 2 sloks are there. We'll add that. Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha
Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha,
Pardharmat Anushtitat
paradharmat swa anushchitat,
Swadharmam Nidhanam Shreyaha
paradharme nidhanam shreya,
Paradharmo Bhayavaha.
paradharmo bhayava.
Shreyan means better. Swadharma Viguna. Swadharma Viguna means even when faulty. Good means correct. Good is quality. Good means by faulty. It is always better to do your Swadharma, even though it is faulty, than Paradharma, than doing the other's duty excellently. So, whatever duty or Varnashram system you are in, accordingly, you should do your duty even though it is done faultily. than doing duty of someone who is in a other varna. And swadharmam nidhanam. Nidhanam is death. Shreya. Shreya is better. It is better to die doing your duty than pardharmo bhayavaha, than following another duty, right? So Krishna says it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duty, even though faultily, than another's duty perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duty, for to follow another path is dangerous. Yeah. So these are the 4 shlokas that Krishna explained to him about the that is basically, if you say the Karma Yoga level, it is the Sakam Karma Yoga, right? Then what was Arjun's learning after this? True decision making must align with one's dharma. This is what Arjun learned. That when I'm doing, it cannot be based on your emotions or desire. It has to be based as per your dharma. And dharma duty is based on your moral and social responsibility. We should not take decisions based on our emotions or desires. It has to be based as per our dharma and as per whatever the right value is, right? So what are the values that was explained? Commitment to dharma even when it is emotionally difficult. It was difficult for Arjun, but you have to commit to dharma. And decision should be guided by the principles, not personal desires. This is what Arjun learned by these shlokas, right? Now we go to the third step. Third, what Krishna explained to him? Acting without attachment, right? Then he said, first was you will get swarg. Then he says, but what you should do? You have to act without attachment. It means mind control, next level. So we know, we have been reading this shlok. This is second chapter, 47 shlok. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karm phal heturbhur mate sangostava karmani. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to the cause of results and activity, and never be attached to doing for not doing your duty, right? So this is something we have been reading multiple times, so I'll not spend time here. So Krishna advised him to act without attachment, right? Act with detachment. And in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna, when Arjun asks him that, show me your universal form. So Krishna tells him, says, and he shows that. He shows in his universal form that, all Bhishma, Drona, everyone is already dead. They are already dead. He could see when Arjun is seeing the universal form of Krishna, he is seeing that all the people who are actually standing in front of, they're standing in the war on the Kaurava side or also in the Pandava side, everyone is already died. And he could see them inside Krishna. And then Krishna says to Arjun, if you have heard the word Savyasachi, Krishna addresses Arjun as Savyasachi and says, you have to just become my instrument. The work has already been done, but I've chosen you to be the instrument and get the credit of what is going to happen. So many times all of us think that we are doing things. Actually, we are not doing. Actually, we are not doing. So don't think that it is happening because of me. No, we are only nimit matra. We are only instruments in the hand of Krishna. So never be proud of what we have achieved or what we are doing or what we have done. Always be thankful and always have just more to him, because we are just instruments. And he tells to Arjun, just be an instrument because it is all done. That happens in the 11th chapter. So here anyway, so that's why he says, because never consider yourself the cause of the result. Because the result that many times we think, oh, I have achieved so much. Yeah. But that's such a wrong thinking that we get. Our achievements, even in office or in, it is not just because of us. I would have put my hard work. I would have done things. But it is also because of, maybe the team members, you don't know what your bosses would have done behind the scene for that. You don't know how much prayers your parents would have done for you to achieve what you are achieving. You don't know how much your wives or your husband would have sacrificed to do what you are doing. You don't know how much, I mean, you don't think about the children, how much they would have, we work for hours and hours together in office. Think about someone who is waiting at home, so the children. So there's so many people there, their wishes are there because of which we are able to do it. So Krishna says, never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activity. Many times we have done excellent work, but we don't see the result out of it. We still we don't perform. I don't get a promotion. No, never get attached to results. That is only going to create stress for us. It's only going to create, depression for us. It's all because of karma. There's so many things that happen, and understanding karma is very, very complex. So always remember in life, do your duty to the best of our ability. That is what we have in our hand. And offer it to Krishna. Give it to Krishna. Leave it rest to him. Leave rest to Krishna. Don't even bother. If you get it as per your wish, thank you. If you don't get it, then also thank. You know why you should thank? Because if you have not got it, there's a better plan he has. There's a better plan he has for you. So never get depressed, never get this, oh, I did not get this. Oh, I wanted it, this did not happen like the way I wished it. Always thank when you don't get what you wished, because it is always dangerous to wish, because maybe he has a better plan. But because you wished and he said, okay, fine, you want it, let it be, because you don't know how the next thing is going to happen after that. But if you do your work and just give the results to Krishna and leave it on him, then it is his responsibility to take you in the right direction. It is not your responsibility. But if we start desiring, commanding, then actually we are in problem, because our mind is very, very small. We cannot see a bigger picture, what he can see. So have faith, have complete faith. And for that complete faith, chant, pray. But do your duty to the best of your ability. Never neglect your duty. And duty is not only work. Always remember, for us, it is my work is my no. We have to look ourselves at a 360 degree. We are someone's wife, we are someone's husband, we are someone's parent, we are someone's son, we are someone's daughter, we are someone's daughter-in-law. We belong to society. We have to play all our role. That is the true living, right? Okay, so this is what acting with detachment is there. But don't be proud whatever you're doing, because be detached to all your work. It is all a bodily activity. Whatever we are doing is bodily. Take it that way, right? Then we go to the next slope. Again, act with detachment. Tasmad asakta satatam you can repeat after me. Tasmad asakta satatam
Tasmad asakta satatam
karyam karma samachara
karyam karma samachara
asakto hyacharan karma
asakto hyacharan karma
param apnoti purushah.
param apnoti purushah.
So therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activity, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attachment, one attains supreme. What we get? Param apnoti purusha. Param is supreme. So do your work with no expectation and offer it to, yeah. So what is the learning for Arjun? Values explain detachment, clarity, and selflessness. Yeah, in decision making. Courage to act without fear of results. When you have a fear of results, then you are under stress. But when you are not bothered about results, but you are doing your best, then you are not under stress. You have the courage to see the bigger picture, right? Then fourth is surrendering to divine will. That is what Krishna explains to him. So this is the shloka I want all of you to memorize. This is called the summary of Bhagavad Gita. This is of 18th chapter, shlok number 66. It is actually a summary. It says, please repeat after me. Sarvadharman parityajya
Sarvadharman parityajya
Mam ekam sharanam vraja.
मामेकं शरणं व्रज
Aham tvam sarva papebhyo
अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो
mokshishyami ma shuchah.
मोक्षयिष्यामि मा
मोक्षयिष्यामि
शुचः
मा शुचः.
So Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya. Parityajya means leave. Sarva dharman, all the duties, all the dharma, you leave that. Mam ekam sharanam raja. Mam is me, ekam, only mine. Sharanam. Sharanam means or surrender. Raja, surrender to me. Aham tvam, I to you. Sarva papebhyo, all your sins. Mokshishyami, I will liberate you from all your pap. Ma shrucha, do not fear. So this is basically, we are on Karma Yoga now. After Karma Yoga, it is Dhyan Yoga, then it is Bhakti Yoga, then it is Gyan Yoga. And then comes the last chapter, 18th chapter. So after explaining everything to Arjun, all the, the part, he says, this slok is said to be the summary of Bhagavad Gita, which says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami mastucha. Leave abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So this slok you need to memorize. Yeah, so this is what he tells to Arjun. And what is the value he's explaining? Complete faith in divine. With complete faith in divine, do your duty honestly, right? And then what Krishna asks Arjun after explaining everything, Krishna says to Arjun, again this is 18th chapter, 63rd slok, he says, Iti te jnanam akhyatam
Iti te jnanam
इति ते ज्ञानम् अख्यातं
guhyataram maya
guhyat
गुह्यतरं मया
vimershe tad asheshena
विमृश्येत
विमृश्येतद्
तशेषेण
अशिषेण
yathechasi tatha kuru.
यथेच्छसि
यथेच्छसि तथा कुरु.
कुरु.
He says, Iti te jnanam akhyatam. I have explained you all knowledge. Guhyataram, which is confidential and most confidential by me, Maya. I have explained you everything. And now, Vimishchetad. Whatever I explained to you, you think about, deliberate on this. And then, Yat Ichchasi, whatever you wish. Iksha, Yat Ichchasi. Yat Iksha, whatever is your wish, Tat Kuru, that you do. So Krishna doesn't tell Arjun, you have to take this path, you do this. He doesn't tell that. He says he has given him the wisdom. Arjun had requested Krishna for guiding him. And Krishna explained him everything. And he said, I have given you all the knowledge. And now I give it to you. You decide what you want to do. The decision to fight and not to fight is with Arjun. It is not Krishna's decision. And Arjun takes the courageous decision based on all the values that Krishna has explained to fight. Right? To fight. So he agreed that he will kill all his Kul people to save Dharma, protect his countrymen. Right? So that was a courageous decision he took because he knew Kul Dharma, saving Kul, is actually being selfish. But his being a Kshatriya, his decision is to save Dharma, establish Dharma. And that is what he says, the final decision. And this is what is 18th chapter, 73rd slok, which Arjun says. He says, Nashto moha smridirlabdha
नष्टो मोहः स्मृतिर्लब्धा
स्मृतिर्लब्धा
Tvat prasadan mayauchuta
त्वत्प्रसादान् मया च्युतम्
त्वत्प्रसादान्मयाच्युत
sthito asmin gata sandeha
स्थितोऽस्मिन् गतः
स्थितोऽस्मि
सन्देहः
गतसन्देहः
karishe vachanam tava.
करिष्ये
करिष्ये
वचनं तव
वचनं तव.
So Krishna says, Arjun says, Nashta moha. my illusion, my moh, my emotions, whatever moh he had, it is nasht, it is gone. Nasht moha. All my all my emotions, all my illusions have now gone. Smritir labdha. I have labdha. I have already got. Now I have got my memory back. I have got my confidence. I have understood now my knowledge. Tvat prasad. It is your prasad. Maya Achyuta. Achyuta is Krishna. Oh Achyut, I have got, because of your prasad, as a prasad, I have understood, and I have got my illusion has been removed, and my knowledge, I have got back my knowledge. Sthito asmi. Now I am sthit. I am now confident. Gat sandeha. Gat is gone. All my confusion, all my sandeh, all my confusion is gone. Karishye. I will do. Vachnam tava. Vachnam is your words. Whatever you have spoken to me, I have understood and I will do accordingly. This is what Arjun says in the 73rd shloka of Bhagavad Gita. So Arjun said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one. Achyut means O infallible. My illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instruction. So this was the courageous decision Arjun took based on all the teachings of Krishna. Right? So do you agree it was a value-based courageous decision?
Yes.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any doubts? No? Okay, so now let's go to the next one. So what was Arjun's transformation? In the beginning, he was confused. So from confused, he moved to clarity. He was full of emotions. From emotions, he moved towards dharma. He was full of fear. Now he has got faith in Krishna, right? And then what was the courage? What is courage? Courage is standing for values, not convenience, right? What the decision is should be based on dharma, not desires. And clarity is standing for truth, not emotions, right? Agreed? Right? This is what happened in Arjun's case. And what we saw, what actually the whole story was. Initially, Arjun was in emotional turmoil. He refused to fight because of empathy. He was a very kind-hearted person. So because of empathy, he was worried and he refused to fight. Then he seek guidance. So he surrendered, which was his humility. Then he understood his duty, reflecting on dharma, which was his integrity. Acting selflessly, performing duty, detachment. Trusting divine will, faith in Krishna, faith. Finally, Arjun's taking decision to fight was value-based, courageous decision. So with this, we will close today's class.